Hey guys, Vincent here, and today I have a question for you. What have these weapons in common? Yes, that's right. They all are unit marked. 90% of the questions you guys ask me are about unit markings, and this is why I wanted to make a short video about them. Unit markings are also one of the main reasons why I find Prussian and Imperial German weapons so interesting. All the stamps and markings of those weapons can tell you a detailed story about the historic artifact in your hand. It's really amazing how much you can find out about the history of a specific weapon by just looking at the stamps and markings. But what are unit markings? The word unit marking, or Truppenstempel in German, describes an array of stamps on a weapon whose job it is to link this particular weapon to one specific soldier out of one specific unit. I will speak a bit about the history of unit markings, and then we will look together at some examples. I would love to hear from some of your weapons with unit markings, so maybe you can post them down below in the comments, or if you need any help with identifying a unit marking, I will be more than happy to help you. I have seen unit markings on weapons from the early 1800s, but they really started to appear after the Napoleonic Wars. It is important to understand that the early Prussian unit markings, and I'm talking about the 1820s until the 1870s, never were within a unit marking regulation, as they would later in the Imperial era. This meant that there was no specific way to stamp the different units, and it can sometimes be kinda hard to read these early unit markings. You can see with most examples here in the video that there was no uniform way on how to stamp unit markings. Sometimes the regimental number is in front, sometimes behind the letter, sometimes they use points, sometimes not, and so on. The earliest written order for stamping unit markings is from 1867, and it just said that mark the weapon unmistakably to a specific unit with the least amount of stamps. So not the greatest amount of details here. The first real unit marking regulation is from 1877, and this regulation would be updated in 1890, 1897, 1900, 1909 and in 1913. These were, however, mostly small updates, and the way to translate a unit marking would stay the same. What also stayed the same was the way on how to stamp a unit marking. The sequence was the regimental number first, then the type of unit, followed by the company number, and then the individual weapon number. The size of the stamps was also set. The stamp used to mark the regimental number should be 4.2 mm high. Both the regimental or battalion number and the company number used 3.2 mm stamps, and the individual weapon number was supposed to be 2.5 mm high. All of the digits and letters were followed by a point. The stamping of the unit markings was stopped in 1914, when war was declared. Alright, enough history now, let's go through some examples. Okay, here we have our first example. The most important unit markings are the regular infantry regiments. They are marked with a simple letter R. So in this case that would be the infantry regiment number 39, 10th company, weapon number 36. Another example for an infantry regiment. This time there's also the letter E standing for the Ersatzbataillon. The Ersatzbataillon was the training unit for new recruits within the regiment itself. So this unit marking on the bayonet would read as the 123rd Infantry Regiment, Ersatzbataillon, 1st Company within the Ersatzbataillon, and then weapon number 229. Okay, this time the R is stamped in a cursive format and therefore indicate that this is a reserve infantry regiment. Older variations of this unit marking can be found with the cursive R in front of the regular R, but this way was later simplified with the second regular R removed. So this unit marking means the 68th Reserve Infantry Regiment, 7th Company and weapon number 201. The removal of the second letter behind the cursive R would however only count for the infantry regiments. All other units had the cursive R in front of their regular letter. And here in our example it is the 5th Reserve Jäger Battalion, 3rd Company, bayonet number 5. So whenever you find the cursive R in front of any other unit markings, this would indicate that this is not a regular line regiment or line battalion, but a reserve formation. There were also some units who were the only unit of this type in the army, and therefore there was no need for a number in front of the letter. This is shown here with the Guard Schützen Battalion, company number 3 and weapon number 206, because there was only one Guard Schützen Battalion in the whole Prussian and Imperial German army. But to make things not too easy, there were also guard units with more than one regiment. Our example here would be the first out of 2 Guard Dragoon regiments, 3rd Squadron, sword number 51. This time another cavalry regiment, and it's the 4th Cuirassier Regiment, 1st Squadron, Pallasch or sword number 66. The German word Cuirassier is written with the letter K, so not within C like you would spell it in French or English. Now let's have a look at the artillery. This nice S9805 with matching numbers was used by the 1st Foot Artillery Regiment, battery number 8 and bayonet number 181. So you may have recognized that the smaller units within a regiment or battalion were called company when it comes to the infantry, squadron for the cavalry, and batteries with the artillery. Now, having looked at infantry, cavalry and artillery, we will go to the pioneers. The pioneers were marked with the letter P, so this Seitengewehr 9802 is marked to the 12th Pioneer Battalion, 2nd Company and weapon number 166. Another often overlooked type of units were the German supply units. They were called train, and not to be confused with train as in locomotive, just train. The train provided all the food, carried the tools, the tents, and everything else an army needs. They are marked with the letter T and then a different letter to show which subsection of the train battalion this weapon belonged to. And in our case it is the 21st Train Battalion with the Fuhrpark-Kolonne number 6, Sabre number 10. A Fuhrpark-Kolonne were basically the vehicle pools from this particular train battalion, so they were the guys sitting on top of the wagon and steering the whole vehicle. Now we have a Blücher sword 1811, and it is marked to the 10th Train Battalion, Proviant-Kolonne number 6 and Sabre number 12. The Proviant-Kolonne was the catering or food supply unit of an army. Other types of train unit markings you can find would be the letter B for Bäckerei, so bakery, or PD standing for Pferdedepot, so this were the guys who took care of all the horses. The last 2 examples I have for you are here to show you that not every unit used the company number and then individual weapon number thing. Here we have a Schutztruppen or Colonial Protection Forces marking, indicating that this KS-98 was used within the Kaiserliche Schutztruppe, bayonet number 3232. Another set of completely different unit markings were the Imperial Navy ones. This bayonet is marked to the 1st Matrosendivision or Sailor Division, weapon number 3822, and its scabbard is marked with a cancelled 2nd Matrosendivision marking and then later marked to the Werft Kiel, Werft being the naval dockyard in the city of Kiel, and then the individual bayonet number 243. So since we could only look at a very small part out of all the possible unit markings, here is also a list of the meanings of the most common letters within German and Prussian unit markings. This may help some of you, but there are so many different and detailed unit marking variations and combinations that most of the time it is just quicker to ask someone who knows a bit more about German unit markings, or to buy yourself a book about this topic and start studying the different types yourself. Okay, so this was a very, very shallow dive into a deep subject, but I hope you had as much fun as I had and enjoyed the video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you feel like it, leave a comment and a question, maybe I can help you, and maybe even like or dislike the video, whatever you seem fit. If you want more videos like this and the ones I have already uploaded, you can subscribe to help this channel grow. And this leaves me with nothing else to say, but I will see you guys in the next video.